How is everyone today? Hi. Hi, guys. Hi, Minion Mama. Hi, Kraken Bean. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Jan Bear. Hi, Empistry. How are you? Yeah, I just realized, I looked over as I was setting the camera up, and I'm like, I think one of the cats got to the mic. Alright, hold on a sec. Let's... There we go. And then up. Beautiful! There it is. Hey, Ginger! How are you? Yeah. Marley, for those of you that weren't here yesterday, Marley got a haircut. It was the very first time that I have ever tried to cut my dog's hair. It's super choppy, but it went really well. You're so good, aren't you? You're such a good boy. You are, right, Soleil? Yeah, my babies are very, very good. So, hi. How is everyone? Today is the block number 5. Block number 5 for the Retro Gaming Revival Quilt Along. It is called Alien Parasite. It is inspired by the game Metroid. So it is a fantastically fun, amazing, cool block that I adore. I think this is one of my favorite blocks. I really, really enjoyed this game, you know, whenever I was younger. So, yes, well, because in the game that, you know, that this is inspired by, it attaches to you and tries to suck your life force out. That's the definition of a parasite. You know, something that sucks something out, a life force or something. So it is, yeah, so it's an alien parasite is exactly what it is. So, yes. All right. So you guys ready to get going? You ready to do the thing? Let's see if, so what I decided we're going to start doing is whenever we have everything laid out and pinned and ready to start sewing, that is when we'll take our break. So it's it'll be around 3 Eastern, so around the 2-hour mark. So yes, exactly, Nikki. Exactly. Because everything that we do with our patterns, it may be inspired by things, it may be reminiscent of things, but we break no copyright or trademark or logos. So no trademarks, no logos, nothing exactly pulled from anything. Try to design everything originally, right? So, all right. So let's do this. Today, this is our lovely pattern. Our lovely pattern that's over in the upper left-hand corner. So the first thing you want to do, remember, is pull your fabrics. So we have purple, apple green, red, and white. Okay, so we don't need any of those. Don't need any of those. I'm actually going to put black on the bottom because black has the most.
Hold on to your batting, folks. This
Capes
is not
and
a drill.
arrows!
The factory is being raided.
Hi, Capes. How was your stream today with your rhinestoning? I saw your go live notification right whenever I was ready to go live. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not watching her rhinestone at all. All right. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, Capes and Arrows is one of my moderators. She's an amazing, awesome, fantastic, wonderful person that I love. And she is making a, oh my gosh, what is his name? Elton John. She's making an Elton John cosplay for Dragon Con. Okay, so I need apple green. This is bright green. I don't want this one. Oh, but I believe this is purple. Yep, that is our purple. So, do we have another purple in here? We do. We do. Okay. So our purples. Ooh, nice. Nice. The hat is almost done. Fantastic. Yes, oh, there's no chat. Thanks, Nikki. I thought I put it up. Let's see. Color source. Chat box. There it is. Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, because, you know, for those of you that are normal Twitch viewers, I actually change around the stuff. I normally don't have chat on the screen, but I figured for the YouTube watchers, they need to understand who I'm interacting with and the questions and everything that's going on, right? So, yeah, I know. I forgot it on this one. All right, so we have purple. So now we need apple green, red, and white. Oh, here's a red. Now, do I have another? Yes, I do have another red. Okay. I need apple green and white. Oh, here is my apple green. And more apple green. And white. And more white. Alright, that is left over. I'm going to set this... You know what? I'm going to actually set this aside over here. Because those are leftover pieces from the very first, from the first one that I did. Just so you know, for those of you that are sewing along, if you are interested in my scraps from the first one that I've done and from this one that I've done, they are all Northcott Toscana Fabrics. They're gorgeous, they're amazing. So if you're interested in my leftover scraps, I may be doing a giveaway at the very end of the quilt along. Alright, so here is white and white. Alright, so we have all of our fabrics. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to set them aside. Alright. And next up, so we've pulled our fabrics. If this block is being made as part of the Retro Gaming Revival Quilt, use the following strips from previous blocks and do not cut additional strips of them. So, from the Hunting Dog and Bulbasaur. So here's Bulbasaur. And here's Hunting Dog. So, Hunting Dog, I need one 2.5-inch white strip. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Alright, for everyone else that's doing this, does anyone else have a leftover white strip? Or did I misplace mine? Not on top of the blue. Yes! There it is. There it is. Thanks, Nikki! There's my white strip. Okay. I was looking for a 1.5-inch, not a 2.5-inch strip. Thank you! I was reading my own instructions wrong. I was reading my own instructions wrong. Hello, Miss Monkey! How are you today? And next, for the Bulbasaur, we need the apple green 2.5-inch strip. Now remember, whenever you're pulling the strip, pull any extra little things you may have cut along with it. So I've got that. So see with the white, I have all these little pieces. So I have everything. So I pull everything from that. So here's my green. And do I have any more little pieces? No. Nope, they're all combined pieces. Okay. I am doing wonderful. Thanks for asking, Monkey. Yes, yes, I know, Jose. All right, so first 4 blocks. I'm going to take these and set these aside. All right, and I don't need my color charts anymore because I got all of my fabrics. All right, let's cut our fabrics. I'm going to start from the bottom up. So I need one white 2-inch strip, 2.5-inch strip, and one white 1.5-inch strip. Now, I do not need the 2.5-inch strip because I've already pulled it from the Hunting Dog block. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and iron this out just to make sure I've got these folds taken care of. Alright, so I'm not going to need this white, because I should be able to do it. Alright, apple green. I'm going to need 1 2.5, which I don't need, just 2 1.5. So, it should be enough on this piece here. So I'll do the same thing and iron that piece. Putting the fun in fundamental. Thanks, Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. There you go. Alright, so I said I only need 1.5. Yes, of course. Yes, I ignored the mental. Because that's how I am, right? There we go. Alright, so I am using a Stripology ruler. The Stripology ruler is a lot like the June Taylor rulers that you may get in your big box stores. I personally like the Stripology better because it's a lot more sturdier, it's nicer, and it's going to last you a lot longer. It is a little bit more expensive though. So if you cannot afford to get a Stripology ruler, a June Taylor ruler is perfectly fine to start with. Alright, so I just need 1.5. And that is it. Oh, it's almost time to change my rotary blade. Alright, so there is my 1.5. That is extra. Let me iron this. For those of you that are part of my regular Twitch crew, I will be doing the monthly mini quilt giveaway on Thursday. So if you want a chance to win the monthly mini quilt, make sure you pop in the stream anytime after 5 o'clock Eastern. You do not have to be present to win. Alright, and I said the green, I need 2 1.5s. Okay, I still have enough on here for one more 1.5 inch strip, so I'm going to save this. Set that aside. Okay, red. Now, I have no previous reds, so I would just have to cut them all. Thank you very much for that, monkey. All I'm doing off camera is ironing. I'm just ironing this fabric. Nothing you really need to see. There we are. Look at this gorgeous red. Doesn't that pop? It's just an amazing red. I love it so much. There you go. All right, so red, we need 1 2.5, and then 2 1.5s. And see how fast you can do it with a ruler that has the slits in it? Yeah, no, this red, like, there's a reason why I said that this block is one of my favorites. I mean, look at that red and that purple together. It is just so cool. It's warm where? In Canada? It depends. I don't know. I haven't been outside. I honestly have not been outside today. I do not know if it's warm out there or not. My husband has a ball game tonight. I have not decided if I am going yet. Okay. Don't need that. And then I'm just ironing the fabric. Make sure if your fabric has wrinkles in it, it is very, very, very important that you iron it before cutting. As Capes and Arrows said yesterday, cutting wrinkled fabric makes her cry. Don't make Capes and Arrows cry. Make sure your fabric is nice. And seriously, and this fabric, I just want to pet this fabric all day long. It's so nice. See the Toscana line? Oh. It's like, it feels like suede almost. It's so nice. It's seriously smooth as butter, and I just want to like pet this fabric all day. I remember the first time I touched a Toscana, I was like I love this so much. I may have to see if I can make a trip to the Northcott plant when I get back from Dragon Con and Gen Con, and after we finish our quilt along. Alright, purple. Alright, so we've got 3. Oh, there's a whole bunch of these. 3, 2.5. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 1.5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 76 Fahrenheit is nice. Yesterday it was like low 90s for Fahrenheit here. There we go. All right, we have all of our strips cut. Any questions on cutting strips? Everyone good on that? Yeah, exactly, Nikki. All right, from the 1.5 inch strips, cut in half 1 purple. So that means I'm not going to cut in half 2 of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my purples and set them aside right there. So that's the full. That's the half. 1 red. Okay, so that means that 1's not going to get cut in half. How are you, Amber? And 1 apple green. Okay, we have 2, so that means 1's not getting cut in half. And then the 1 white. There we go. All right, all of our 1.5 inch strips are taken care of. Now we're gonna cut our fabrics. All right, so purple. All right, so I'm going to do this for right now, just so you can see what's going on. And let me fix that camera a little bit. Whoops. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to iron my strips just like this. So I'm keeping my strips ironed. I'm keeping my strips folded. And I'm going to do a technique called layering. You can probably figure out what layering is going to do. I mean, layering is going to involve what? Pretty self-explanatory. So we are going to layer our fabric. So I'm going to actually meet up the ends, and I'm going to make sure that all of my layers are lined up and straight, and it's perfect, right? So it's all right here. Then I'm going to cut all of them at the same time. So I'm cutting 4 things at a time because I have 2 strips that are folded in half. So it's 4 layers. There we go. All right, so purple. I need 8 of a 4.5. So there's 4, 8. And then I need 11 2.5. So 4, 9. Okay, so that's 8. So 2.5. 2.5. There's 4, 8, 12. Okay, and then 18 1.5. I'm just gonna take all of these. Now I don't need one of these, so I'm gonna take one off and set it aside because I only need 11. I only need 11 pieces. So I've got that. Now let's cut some 1.5s, making sure everything's still lining up. Make sure you use the grids on here. Hi, Crystal B. How are you? Fantastic. That is great news. All right, so 1.5. So there's 4, 8, 12. So we've got 12 so far. So now I'm going to cut this last little strip. So all I'm going to be doing is ironing the same way I just showed you before. So ironing it in half. So in other words, if you own a small business, get out the Staples and get a chip reader for $6 because they're normally $25 to $50. All right. Now, I said we have 8. So there's 10. No. We have more than 8. I think we got 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Yes, 12. So it's 14. 16, 18, 14, 16, 18. Perfect. All right, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to set this aside to use for a future block. Yes. So whenever you accept payments with Square, so if you bring me out to your convention or Quilt Guild or store, I use Square. And I have a chip reader. And what the chip reader does is it reads the chips. It's much more secure. It's more better. More better than just swiping. And it protects you as well as the person. I highly, highly suggest that you invest in one. All right, so that's probably going to be the only business thing I say on this stream, because this stream's all about the quilt along. All right, so next. Apple green. Oh, wait, no, from the red fabric. Let's do red next. Let's do red. It is more better. More better is a word. Even if I am the only one that believes that. More better is a word. It means it's more better. All right, red. We need 5 2.5. So 2, 4, 6. Because remember, I cut it in 2, so I'm going to have 1 extra, so that's fine. It is. It's a very technical term. More better. We're going to add it to our vocabularies. And then I need 4. 1, 2, 4. There we are. There's my red. Okay. Oh, you know what? I can take all of this and set this aside. I don't need this anymore. Next is green. Now green, I only need 1 2.5 by 2.5. Hey! Look at that! I already have 1 cut. Remember, this is why we cut it in 2s. We can just use the pieces in the future. It's not like we're not going to use it, right? All right, so there's our green that we already cut before, and I'm done with this one. From the white. Okay, white. We need 2 2.5. Well, I already have 1, so, and I've got a 4.5, so I'm just going to cut this 4.5 into a 2.5. There we are. Now I have 2. All my solids are cut. All right, so now we are done with page 1. Page 1 is finished. All right, use 1.5 inch strips, so the right sides together. So we need 1 and a half purple. So we need the 1 and we need the half. To 1.5 green. So there's a green. And then now let's take this half. And then let's find the green half. Hello, Sapphira. How are you today? Okay. Now, one purple to one red. Purple, red. Half purple to half white. Okay. Half purple to half white. Now remember, if you're using the Toscana, the white, thank you for the host, Sapphira, I appreciate it. The white is a little weird. Okay, the white does not have the same textures as the other fabrics because it's white, and they're trying to get a textured white. So it's really, really hard to figure out which side is the right side of the white. So I always fold it in a way to make sure that I know that, okay, this is the right side on the outside. Purple to white, half red to half green, half red, to half green, and then half red to half white. And so we use every single bit of our strips. Now that's the wrong side, so now that's the right side up. Fantastic. All right. Let's sew our strips. Any questions so far? We're rolling right through. Any questions on cutting the strips, cutting the pieces, any of that? You guys got it? All right, so we're sewing the right sides to right sides. So here's our white. I know that my finger right here is on the right side because I remembered. The red. If you're looking at a piece of fabric, okay, the right side of fabric is a fabric where the color saturation is. The wrong side is where it's not. So your wrong side looks like this. Right? Wrong. All right? So we're going to be sewing the right sides to the right sides. Now, if you're using batiks, batik has no right side. A batik fabric is actually, describes the dyeing process of how it's created. So with the batiks, you can use either side. It's perfectly fine. You just need to decide which side you want to use. All right, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking these strips. I shake them out because I actually did it last week too. I shake them out to make sure that everything is all laying down. Okay? So everything is nice and flat. There's nothing folded in there. There's nothing at all. All right? So we've got this. And I'm just going to put it right on in there. And I'm going to sew it. Now, if you're like me and you want to make sure that you want to keep going and you don't want to pause as you're sewing, so there's two ways to do this. There is line it up and then sew. Okay? Constantly making sure that your fabric is lined up. That's the first way, just moving it around. The second way is the way I normally do it. You put your finger between the two strips of fabric, just like this, and then you want to take the rest of your fingers, put them underneath the bottom piece, and your thumb on top of the top piece. And then what you're going to do is this. You're going to use your thumb to move this top fabric back and forth so that you can always have a straight piece of fabric that's going in. You can also control the angle that your fabric is being sewn. And this is important because you want to make sure you're keeping a 1/4 inch. You actually could be sewing a scant 1/4 inch. Because if you think the way that fabric and thread work, if you sew a perfect 1/4 inch and then iron it open, you're actually taking away more than a 1/4 inch because of the fold and because of the thread. So if you sew a scant 1/4 inch, so just a little bit less than the 1/4 inch, then whenever you iron that, you now have a perfect 1/4 inch. So I use what's called a 1/4 inch foot with guide. So this piece of metal right here, if my fabric touches this piece of metal, I'm sewing a perfect 1/4 inch. So what I want to do is keep my fabric just to the left of it. I don't want to touch it, just to the left of it. And then I'm sewing a perfect scant 1/4 inch. And that's going to be good when you square your block up later. If you sew a perfect 1/4 inch, your block may be just a little bit under 18 by 18. If you sew a scant, then it should be 18 and a half by 18 and a half. And it gives you a little bit better room to square it up. There we are. All right, so I'm making sure my fabrics are right side to right side. Now I am doing what's called chaining. So when you chain your pieces, you're putting something constantly into your sewing machine. So you notice how whenever I initially started, I had a scrap piece of fabric in there. The scrap piece of fabric allows me to get it started. Chaining does a couple of things. The first thing it does is it saves you fabric and it saves you thread. Thank you very much for putting that in, Nikki. I appreciate it. The second thing it does is it saves time. The third thing it does is seals the ends of your fabrics. So if you're putting something into your machine and then you start at the end of it, there's always going to be a little gap. There's going to be a little opening. That's not a good thing. If you chain, there's no gap. It actually has thread throughout the entire piece. So this is a really, really good technique for quilting, or if you're sewing repetitive things. So for example, whenever I'm making my dice bags, I always chain. Always. When I made my pillowcases, I also chained. There we are. All right, so now for the whole piece. There we go. Shake it out. There we go. All right. After this, we have 2 more to do. Any questions on assembling strips? On sewing them? Any of that stuff? Any questions so far at all about what we're doing? I think it's funny. The first 2 weeks, lots and lots and lots of questions. After that, everyone's like, oh, wait, I understand this. It's the same exact thing over and over. And that is the point of my patterns. Once you do one of my patterns, you can do any of my patterns. Let's do this one. Oh, my nose itches. I apologize. Sapphire knows. She's made a whole bunch. All right. We've got the half. Here. There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much for the host. I appreciate it. All right, this is our last combination. So what I want to do after this is take my scrap fabric and put it into the machine. Because remember, we want to have something constantly in the machine for chain sewing. So there's my scrap. I'm going to trim the end. Now, the next step is to cut these strips in half. So I'm going to start from the very end. I'm going to take this first strip. We're going to trim the thread between them. And then we're going to fold the strip in half. Just like that. Now remember last week I made a mistake. I wasn't paying attention to where I was folding this in half, and it actually gypped me a piece. And I had to go back to previous blocks and cut a piece. So what you want to do is make sure that you line this up to cut in half in a way that's going to maximize your fabric. So you can get the most out of it. And then cut that in half. And then I'm going to lay it down. Okay, same thing with the half pieces. The half pieces, I'm still cutting them in half. There we go. And fold it in half. And let's line this up. So I've got that. I apparently didn't mute my machine. I apologize about that. There we go. Alright, and then I've got a half piece, folding it in half. Questions? You guys are quiet today. Other than talking about the weather. There we go. Folding in half. Alright, last but not least, the last piece. Folding this in half and then cutting it. There we go. You're approving your small talk conversation earlier? Yes, yes. All right, let's iron this. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't change that. All right, hold on. Let me change this patterns. Nope, not that one. That one. And then there and there. There we go. I realized after I did that, I was like, oh wait, I actually didn't do that. I appreciate that, Minion Mama. Thank you very, very much. I super appreciate that compliment. All right, so we are going to... I love that. Yeah, there's no chat on this. There's no room, and that's fine. Minion Mama just said that yesterday was Quilt Guild Sew Day, and she was busy chain sewing. When she came up for air, she knows veteran quilters were watching her, because I am a good teacher, and I appreciate that. All right, so we're going to be ironing this in opposite directions. So this is the only time I'm going to have this camera on so you can see a close-up. So I've got my white on top, and I've got my red on top. So what I'm... Whoops. I need to warm up my iron. I need to warm it up. Nikki, will you do me a favor? Will you exclamation iron and let me know if my discount code is working again for the Aliso irons? I know that Aliso was fixing it and getting that up. There we are. All right, so what I'm going to do is you can do this step. This step locks your seam in. And then I iron it just a little bit here. And then I'm actually going to be pressing up. So what I'm doing is I'm ironing this so my seam is pointing towards the red because the red is up. So then we're going to do the whites. So we want to iron this. There we go. And then press it up. Just like that. So now we have one half strip where the seam is going towards the red, and another one that goes towards the white. Oh, fantastic. So if you want an Oliso iron for yourself, you can go to the Oliso website, O-L-I-S-O. It's a fantastic iron. I love these things. And you can get 25% off. That is a lot of money. 25% off if you put the keyword Quiltonian. All right, so let me show you now what we do with these strips. So I'm going to take my first strip. So this is the one that we have towards the red. I'm going to take my one towards the white, and I'm going to do what's called nesting the seams. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to flip it on top so that the red and the white are both the same. And I'm going to take my seam, and I'm going to line them up using my fingers, just like this, to make sure that they're resting against each other. So let me show you on the close-up camera. So you see how the seams are nested? So you have towards the white and towards the red, and they're opposite. So if I were to sew this just like this, it's going to give me a perfect seam. So a perfect, words are hard. What word am I looking for? It'll give me a perfect point. Perfect points every time. Yes, words are hard. All right, so. And yes, I kept the emotes on because they haven't been too bad. All right, so let's cut this thing. So what I'm doing is I'm lining it up, and I'm lining it up so I have a line right here that's going through my seam. So I have my seam right there. Oh, maybe I never turned them back on again. Oh well. So my line is here, lined up with the seam. So now I'm going to trim the very end. So you always square it up, always trim it. And then red and white. I need 1 of those and 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take my extra and set it aside in my stack up here. Okay, this is trash. Now, whenever I open them, I'm going to open them and separate them. So I have one stack that's going towards the white and one stack that's going towards the red. Just like that. All right, and then set those aside. Next up. Any questions on cutting, on nesting the seam? You guys got it? Hello, Mr. Marley. Towards the green. I guess that's a no. You guys got it. Soleil, stop. Come here. There we are. Yep, that's exactly how I organize my pieces. I want to make sure that my seams go in opposite directions, and that way it's easy for me to grab it in a way that you want it. Yes. My husband is home from work today, so they heard him walking around upstairs, and they're like, hey, what's going on? All right, so let's trim the end. Now, our red and our green, we need 1, and then 1. There we are. Now it's time for red and white. I love this purple so much. This is I think my favorite shade of purple of any fabric. It is a glorious, glorious purple. It's so saturated. It's just really nice. And this is purple and white. Soleil, come down here. 1. Soleil! Let's go. Go lay down. Marley says he wants to help. You're a good boy. Would you like to be the sewer? Would you like to be the streamer today?
Hold on to your batting, folks.
Alley
This
cats!
is not a drill. The factory is being raided.
Thank you so much for bringing your friends in here. I appreciate you. Yes, Marley is best helper. Marley is best helper. How are you today, Alley Cat? So for those of you that are coming in on the raid, I am Tony. I am a professional video game comic book quilter, and we are doing the 5th block in our quilt along. This video is also going to be on YouTube, so if you're interested in doing the quilt along with us, you can always catch up. !quilt along to get a copy of the pattern, and everything, of course, is on YouTube to watch the videos again. And of course, you can always rewatch them here on Twitch. Now, I know Alley Cat Fibers is currently doing a spinning event. What is it called? The Tour de Fleece. That's it, Tour de Fleece. So basically, as the Tour de France is going on, she is spinning and taking care of the yarn. It's super cool. I know Getting My Mailbox is doing it. Thank you for the host, by the way. I think Dio is also doing it. Dio the Yarn Dragon. Looney Loomworks is doing it. There's a bunch of streamers that are doing the Tour de Fleece that I found out. Thank you for bringing your friends in. And guys, and Rowena, thank you so much for the host. I appreciate it. And Sarah Dawn, thank you for the host. I appreciate you. For those of you that are in my stream, if you have not yet followed
you have just
Alley Cat,
followed Quilt
please
Tony.
give her a follow.
Your taste must be exquisite.
Sarah Dawn, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So remember, if you have not yet followed Alley Cat Fibers, she's amazing, awesome, fantastic yarn and fiber streamer. Absolutely fantastic.
Congratulations, you have just followed Quilt Tony. Your taste must be exquisite.
And Mama Jewel Rose, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. For those of you that see the giveaways along the top, because this is a quilt along, in fact, we are live right now in a few stores around the world, and everyone's doing the quilt along with us. If you see how we've got the giveaways, any giveaways that are triggered today, we'll be doing it on Thursday evening stream. Thursday evening, I will be doing my monthly mini quilt giveaway. Yes, I know you were following before, Sarah. Unfortunately, it unfollows people. And I know you're following. It doesn't announce it unless you have, unless Twitch unfollowed you for some reason. Hi, Girl November. Thank you for lurking. I appreciate you. Alright, so we've got that. Alright, this is red and purple. So Thursday, I'll be making a mini quilt, start to finish, and then giving it away. In order to be eligible to win, you just have to pop in sometime on Thursday, between 5 and 8 o'clock. You don't have to be present to win. You just pop in, use your pixels for tickets, and then you could possibly win. Alright, so, let's see, red and purple. I need 1 set of this, and 6 sets of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Thank you so much for bringing your friends in and continuing to lurk, Alley Cat. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you again for bringing your friends over. All right, so let's separate these into our 2 different stacks of our seams pointing in different directions. Here we go, and set them aside. 1 more color, and we are ready to start laying things out. So, if you came in on the raid, again, I'm Tony. Hi. I'm a professional quilter. I have my own line of patterns. And like I said, we are doing a quilt along. If you are interested in quilting, or have any questions on what we're doing, this is a teaching stream, please feel free to ask. Even if you think I've covered it already, there are no silly questions. Hi, Rowana, how are you today? There we go. All right, let's line this up. Now remember, I am lining this along one of the lines that are right here. I'm lining it up along the seam. All right, so red and green. Red and green. Purple and green. I can color. I know colors. Really. Really I do. Really. Okay, purple and green. So I've got 5 2.5s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's separate these. I mean, and look how beautiful. Look how beautiful that purple looks with that green too. I mean, that is just, the super saturation of that color is just amazing. All right, I'm gonna set those aside over there. All right, and
Congratulations, you have just followed Quiltoni. Your taste must be exquisite.
And Flower Falls, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. All right, here's their larger piece of purple and green. There we go. All right, lining this up. Beautiful. Okay. Now I did 4, so I need 1 more 2.5. And after this strip, we are done cutting. All right, so 1 more 2.5. So that's 5. And I need 6 1.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Flower. All right, so we're going to take this and set it aside up here. All right, and that's it for all of our cuts. So remember, if you're interested in joining along with the Quilt Along, !Quilt Along will get you to the website to pick this pattern up. There we go. All right, and I've got my stacks. So now, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to set this completely aside. I'm going to clean up my trash. And now we are going to organize our stuff. So, I'm going to set this here. Ooh, I need my little paper marker things. There it is. Here's my paper marker thing. It's just a scrap piece of paper. And what I normally do with my pattern, here, I'll put it up here so you can see. I normally take my paper and I go along, so I know exactly which row I'm working on. It just makes it easier. All right, so I have that. And now I'm going to lay all of my fabrics out here so it's easy for me to grab and to use. So let's do this. Oh, let's slide this over to make sure, yep, I have enough room. And you see how I separate not only the way that the seams are pointing, but the big pieces from the little pieces? Thank you for being here though, Sarah. I appreciate you. By doing this, it's going to be a lot easier for me to grab them when I need them. There we go. So all my pieces are laid out. So it's easy for me to grab them and take care of that. So let's take a look at that top one. Oh, I'm not going to need this anymore. I can put that away. All right. Let's lay them out. All right, I'm going to lay this out right here because the chat is hiding where it's going to go. So I wanted you to be able to see how I'm laying these out and what I'm doing. So we've got that piece. Now, when I lay my pieces out, I group them in groups of 2. So as you see, I have a 4.5 and I have a 2.5 inch piece. So I'm going to leave them there in a group of 2 because these are the 2 that I'm going to pin together. So it's already grouped out. Now, I used to lay all of my pieces just flat out, but that takes so much room. By grouping them into how you're going to pin them anyways, you're saving space. I mean, and I want to be able to lay more out, right? So I'm saving some space. All right, so we have this. And then this one towards the green, towards the purple. Now, I just said to myself towards the green, towards the purple. Because I have 2 pieces that have seams on there. Remember we talked about alternating those seams. We talked about nesting those seams. We want to make sure that those seams are pointing in opposite directions so that we can line it up so we have a perfect point. So this one is pointing down towards the green. This one is pointing up towards the purple. So then that way, whenever I do sew them together, it's going to be a nice perfect point. All right. So we've got that, and then there, and there. All right. Row number 1. Where am I? There's my needles. Row number 1. Our arrow. You see how we have a lovely arrow on here? Look! We didn't forget it on this pattern. For the past 2 patterns, we forgot to put the arrows onto this page. So on this one, the arrow is pointing to the right. So it's going this way. It's going towards the right. So what we want to do is pick up the right piece, flip it over the left piece, and then pin it in place. Okay, so right piece, over left piece. Oops, I went too far, sorry. And then pin it in place. Now, whenever I pin, I like to pin the seam first and then the edges, but that's completely up to you. You also don't have to use pins. You can use clips if you want to use clips. Just however you like to hold your pieces together, that is how you should hold it together. Now, when I go to sew my fabrics, I do a horrible, horrible thing, and I sew over my pins. Don't do that. Do not sew over your pins. It is a horrible habit that I have. There we are. Okay, so we have everything for row 1. So I'm going to take this and set row 1 up here. All right, now row 2. Let's lay out the pieces for row 2. All right, in this case, our seam's going towards the purple. It's also, yes, Des Quixote got both of the reasons why. You don't want to sew over your pins, Lady with Frenzy Wicked Truth, because not only can it break your needle, and then the metal shards could potentially hurt you, but you could throw the timing off on your machine. So you can actually damage your machine, which will then cost you money. Now, this machine that I use, this, the Brother CS6000, is a cheap machine that I buy online when it goes on sale for less than $100. I have a couple of them. So if I break it, it is cheaper for me to buy a new machine than it is to get it repaired. So what I do is I keep it for, I have a couple that are broken that I keep for spares and for spare parts. And if I can fix it, great, I fix it. If I can't, well then I throw it away. Okay, why did you get down if you want it back up again, silly? Mwah. Marley want it back up again. Oh. Alright, be streamer. Say hi to them. Be the streamer. Good boy. Okay, so we've got that. All right, so this one, the seam's going up towards the purple. So the next one, I need to go down towards the purple. And then the next one up towards the purple. And then a solid. It doesn't make a difference, so I'm just going to take the opposite of what I did before to balance it out. Desquiote Marley did get a haircut. I cut his hair myself on Saturday. So this is now towards the red. So the next one, I need to go up towards the green. And then down towards the green. And then a solid piece. There we go. All right, so this one, row 2. The arrows are pointing to the left. Because the arrow is pointing towards the left, I'm going to pick the left piece up, flip it over the right piece, and pin it into place. Yeah, no, Lady Frenzy Wicked Truth, I have a Papillon as well. I also have a Chion, so Blanket Dog, Surprise Dog under there is a Chion. So he's half Chihuahua, half Papillon. His ears get so knotted, I actually brush them on a regular basis. Left over right. And then whenever he gets knots, I just trim the knots out. There we are. So left over right and pin into place. Oh, I apologize. My nose just won't stop itching today. My allergies are just going crazy. Left over right. Well, it's funny because Alfred actually gets horrible knots in his ears. And it's because Marley likes to chew on his ears.
Thank you for subscribing to Quiltoni. Grab your needles and head down to the sweatshop. I mean, factory.
Thank you very much, Sapphire. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much to the host as well as the 16-month resub. I appreciate your support. And because of that, of course, you get the emotes, you get the Marley, you get the quilt, you get Hestia, you get all sorts of things. Thank you very much. And thank you for subbing to my YouTube, where these videos will be posted. I appreciate it. Okay, so you notice how this little piece right here, we have a lonely little piece all by itself. It's a lonely little piece. We're not doing anything with it at this point. We will include it in the next pass. As I go through and sew all of the rows, that's called a pass. So the next pass, we make sure to include this lonely little piece. But for now, it's fine. So whenever I put it up there, I'm just going to set it just like this. So the lonely little piece is sitting there just like that. And I just realized I haven't had another little water. Whew! There we go. All right, row number 3. There. All right, so this row has got a horizontal. Okay? It has a horizontal piece. So I'm going to cheat and skip ahead and do my horizontals. All right? So I skip to the 3rd page and I see I have 4 horizontals. I'm going to go ahead and sew those right now. So let's take our horizontal. We have 1, 2, and that, by doing it right now, it's going to make my life so much easier. And then row 3, the arrow's going to the right, so I need to go green and red towards the red. Because remember, we want to make sure that the arrows go in the correct direction. So for this piece right here, the arrow's going to the right. So this piece, my seam, is going towards the red. Okay? This one, it needs to go towards the green. The next one, I need 2 reds. So red, red, green, and purple. So row 4 is to the left. So I need to go towards the green and then towards the purple. Any questions on that? Because remember, we always want to keep, yeah, exactly. If you mess it up, it's an easy fix. You can always just re-iron it. We always want to keep the arrows in mind because the arrows are the directions that our seams are going. So keep those in mind. All right, so now I'm going to take these, flip the bottom up, and pin it. So Nay, what are you doing? Oh yes, Lady Frenzy, that may do it. Whenever they put their ear hair into their food, yeah, I could totally see that. There we go. And then this one. All right, now let me sew it. So that means you're gonna have to move, Marley. You can't be streamer. Oh, he says, but Mama. Oh, he says, Mommy, but I loves you. I just want to sit and get the loves. I know. I know. You're such a lovey dog. I know. All you want is the loves. I know. Hey, M&Q, how are you today? He says, I just want you to love. Oh. All right, let me put you down. That's a good boy. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to sew our horizontal pieces. Remember, do as I say, not as I do. Don't sew over your pins. No, because then he would still get in my way, Desquiote. I can't have him in my lap whenever I'm sewing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up my presser foot. I'm going to take my piece. I'm going to put it in right against that needle and put the presser foot down. Continue to sew at a scant 1/4 inch. That means just to the left of that piece of metal if you're using a 1/4 inch pressing, if you're using a 1/4 inch foot with guide. If you're not using a guide, make sure that you sew just to the left of your 1/4 inch mark. And we're going to lift this up, put it down. Sewing it just to the left of the 1/4 inch mark. There we go. Now remember, we do have a Facebook group for the Quilt Along. Whoops, it's just stuck right there. There we go. If you would like to share your pictures of your blocks, if you would like to see other people's blocks, if you have questions, concerns, and you don't want to message me, you want to ask other people, join our Facebook group. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. All right, so we're going to lift up our scrap and put our scrap in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Gypsy Quilter cutting gizmo, which is going to separate my chain pieces. So you see my little thing right here, my little cutting gizmo? All I'm going to do, because remember I've got my chain pieces. I'm going to take it and just separate it. It's got a razor blade in there. And it's surrounded so you can't accidentally cut yourself. There's no way that I can cut myself on this, even though I'm trying right now. It's super, I love these things. I found another one, it's made by thread cutters, which is basically like a little caddy and thread cutter all in one, which is super cute. I don't know if I'll pick it up or not. All right, so then if you have taken, oops, this way, there we go. If you have done what you're supposed to and taken your pins out while you're sewing, at this point you just want to take and put them in the opposite order. But I gotta take my pins out. Because, yeah. Soleil, wait until I'm done and I'm at break. I'll let you upstairs. Soleil, come here. Ugh. All right, let's iron it. So remember, these are the horizontal pieces. So it actually does not make a difference which way that it doesn't make a difference which way I iron the seams, because it's just the horizontal pieces, and I can fix it from the others. I know. Marley says, Mommy, you're standing up. That means you have to pick me up and give me love. I know. You're such a good boy. There you go. Would you like to be streamer again? You like being streamer, don't you? I know. You're a good boy. Now remember, if you want one of these Aliso irons, I have a 25% discount for you. I get zero monies. I am not an affiliate with them. I am not getting money when you buy one. I do not tell you this because I want to make money. I am telling you this because I negotiated a discount all for you. 25% off if you want one. All right. Now, let's go back to row number 3. So these two, oh, purple. There we go. And they're on the bottom. So this one goes here. Now, this is why it's important. Hey, Umbridge, how are you? This is why this is important, because my seam is going down towards the purple. So this piece right here has need to be going up. So it needs to go towards the purple. There we are. So now my seams are opposite so that they'll nest. All right, so that's towards the purple. So towards the purple with red. A solid purple. Red and purple. Solid red. Red and purple. Solid purple. Okay, now that one's going to go there. That's towards the purple, so we need to go towards the purple. And then towards the purple with green. And then a solid. There we go. All right, now this one. Seams are going to the right. Because seams are going to the right, we want to take this piece on the right. Flip it up over that left piece and then pin it into place. Did I do that right? Yes. I didn't turn it all the way. Alright, let's pin this. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, the music that I am playing is courtesy of Pretzel. Right over left, pinning into place. Pretzel is a free music streaming site. And you can actually link it towards your Twitch account so that it actually says in Twitch what the songs are. So if you like any of these songs and you would like to download them, just take a look at the chat bar and see what the artist and the song is. And when a new song starts playing, it'll let you know. So for example, this one is Breakfast at Cheetah's by Approaching Nirvana. And if you are watching live on Twitch, you can actually click the link in the chat if you like the song. Now this is the repetitive part of the stream, where for the next 15-20 minutes, all I'm going to be doing is laying pieces out and pinning them. There are 9 rows. We are currently on row number 3. This one, Des Quixote. This one is my favorite quilt block that I actually have the entire quilt along. Because I am in love with this purple. I am absolutely in love with this purple. Okay, row number 4. Oh, and we have another lonely little piece. Remember, it's okay to have a lonely little piece. We're going to include it in the next pass. Good morning, Azules. How are you? All right, row number 4. All right, it looks like we have these two as well. So I'm going to take these out so I can keep an eye on them. All right, we have a solid. All right, now this one is first. So it's going down, so it needs to go up towards the purple. And then towards the red. Towards the red. Towards the red. And then towards the red with white. Towards the red. Oh, it looks like I'm going to have to start ironing because I have a couple of things. I've run out of the purple and the reds with the seams towards the red. So now I have to start ironing them. All right, so let's start. Let's heat up my iron. Thank you very much, Nikki. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, this block, it looks complicated, but it's really not. It's really, really not complicated. It's not as easy as the Mario coins. Remember the Mario coins last week was the easiest block we're going to do. Now, the hardest block that we're going to do is the Adventurer, which is based on Link. Yeah, so honestly, it is, So let's start ironing our seams in opposite directions. Honestly, all of my patterns are exactly the same. So it's not like I enjoy doing one over another. It's just a matter of the little differences. For example, I like doing the Pac-Man and the Soot Sprite based quilts because there's no borders. Once you're done, you're done. But I like this one the best because of the purple. I love this shade of purple. Alright, towards the red. Okay, that's towards the red. I need to go towards the red again, so I have to do this. Okay, so let me re-iron this one. Now, when I re-iron it, all I'm doing is I'm ironing it on the opposite side first. And then I'm going to flip it over. And then iron it on this side. I appreciate that, Sapphire. I try to make my patterns easy to understand. And easy to read. So if you say it's not hard, I appreciate that. Hi, Star Killer. How are you today? Okay, so then there's that one. And then that one. And then towards the purple. And then solid. Alright, now row 4. Our arrows are going to the left. So we want to pick this left piece up, flip it over the right, and pin that into place. I am doing good. Thank you for asking. See, in Sapphire, that's what I try to do. So whenever we initially did the pattern line, it was because cosplayers kept asking me for patterns. So I had no clue if my brain could go into their brain. Because remember, my way of patterning is not like anything out there. Now, there's a couple of traditional things like stripping, nesting the seams, things like that. But the way that I quilt with the pixelations and the groupings, basically it's a combination of stripping and blocking, which is grouping. And I have not seen patterns like that anywhere. So I didn't know if people could understand the way that I quilt. So I actually had it thoroughly tested by many different people. By people that had never sewn before, by cosplayers, by experienced quilters. I made sure I thoroughly tested it everywhere. And I made my patterns towards cosplayers. And my assumption was that if you're a cosplayer, you know how to use a sewing machine. But that's all you may know, because you may be self-taught. You may have taught yourself all those things about the sewing machine. So you may not understand terminology. You may not know the basics of quilting. So in the patterns, I explain all terminology. Every single pattern has the exact same explanations, and they're all highlighted. So if you do my patterns on a regular basis, those highlighted areas, you can skip. That's info you know if you've done a couple of patterns. But don't skip that info if it's the first one or two you've done. All right, we have a lonely little piece. We're going to switch this on over here. Row number 5. Row 5 is going to the right. So, towards the green.
Congratulations, you have just followed Quilt Tony. Your taste must be exquisite.
Shalette, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. Alright, and we've got a red and white combined. A red, purple, red, a red and white combined, red, and I'm starting to run out of pieces. That's my favorite thing. I love it when I'm laying pieces out and I start to run out of pieces, because it means that we're actually making progress and we're getting there. Hello, baby. I didn't turn to pet you. I turned to talk to them. I know, but you think that you demand the pets. I know. You're a good boy. Okay, so there's red. So then now I need to go towards the purple. So let's go here. And there. Alright, so going to the right. So go arrow to the right. That means right over left. And pin it into place. Now, all these little shortcuts that I show you with the, the way that the arrows go, and that's how you flip them, and that's how you move them. These are all little tips and tricks that I learned, that I taught myself, that I discovered. So when I first started pixel quilting, I actually cut out each and every little pixel, each and every little square. And I would sew them together, and then I would come over here and I would look at my arrows and I'd go, okay, it has to go this way. All right, let me go iron this. And I'd go iron it and then bring it back. I would take the next piece. It has to go this way. Go and iron it. That takes forever. It takes forever. So these are all little things that I've learned. Yes, he is definitely more comfortable, Minion Mama. Marley loves getting haircuts. He sits perfectly still, and he loves getting haircuts because he loves being brushed. And he loves the way he feels after a good haircut. So he's a good boy, isn't he? And Shalette, there's also another dog under my table, and another dog over under that blanket over there. So I have 3 dogs, 2 cats. The cats have not yet made an appearance. They may make an appearance after the break. Alright. So this, and again, lonely little piece. We're just going to set it right there until we can include it the next pass. Alright, row number 6. Any questions so far on laying pieces out, pinning, anything at all that you guys have for this pattern? Towards the green, so I need to go towards the red. Okay, so I have to iron this piece. All I'm doing is I'm ironing my seam in the opposite direction. Okay, towards the green. Towards the green with green and red. Okay, and then a solid. Okay. That's towards the red, so we need to go towards the purple. Towards the purple. Towards the purple. And then a solid. Okay, this is going to the left. So, left. Take the left piece, flip it over the right piece, and pin it into place. Okay, so left over right, pick it into place. Yes, so Sapphire, when you take a look at the pattern, so look at the pattern, you see the direction that those arrows are going? That's the way that the seams need to point. So if the arrow is pointing to the left, which is what it's doing here, you take that left piece and you flip it over the right piece. And what that's going to do after you sew it, you can just take this right to the ironing board, because then you can iron it just like this. You can iron this top piece and your seams go this way. Your seams already pointing to the left. So it is a shortcut that I have learned. It's basically setting yourself up for success. It is doing a solid for future Sapphire. You're saving time by making sure that your pieces are already here and ready to go and ready to iron. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. That is not right. All right, so towards the purple. Oh, this has got to go towards the purple. It's towards the green. My seam is going in the future, and that my seam future. I read your comment as I started to talk. My seam was going in the wrong direction, and I did not iron it. So I'm just re-ironing my seam. So now it can go in the right direction. Yep, that's right. Okay, to the left. Left over right. And that's how you know if you've made a mistake. So you can actually trigger those whenever your seams don't line up. If you're very, very careful, like what I'm doing now, and lining things up correctly, if it doesn't line up, you know you've done something wrong, and you know to fix it. Okay, row 7. That's... So all I'm doing is I'm grabbing my pieces and they're corresponding. And purple, white, purple, green, purple, green, green, purple, 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 white, purple, red, red, white, and purple. Okay, seams go to the right. So I want to pick up that right piece, flip it over the left, and pin it into place. Just remember, I have done extensive research into Twitch. I asked a few people. And I asked them, what do Twitch viewers want? The answers were free things, giveaways, and animals. And that's what I give you on my Twitch streams. Okay, so remember, arrows go to the right. So I'm taking that right piece, flipping it over the left piece, and pinning it into place. Now remember, if you are interested in having me to your convention, guild, or local store, let them know. I do travel, I do teach, I do lecture. In fact, in 2 weeks from today, after I finish my stream here for the Quilt-A-Long, I will be leaving to go to Indianapolis for Gen Con, where I will be teaching English paper piecing classes. So if you would like me to go to a local store, guild, or convention near you, just let them know. Alright, so I've got that. So this is still to the right, so right piece over left and pinning it into place. Alright. Next, number 8. Row number 8. Get that. Okay, purple and white. So that goes that way towards the white. So that's got to go towards the white. Purple. White. Purple. White. Purple. Jan Bear, thank you so much for gifting that sub to Girl November. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Alright, so purple, white, purple, white, purple. Red and white, so it's towards the red, so we need to go down towards the purple. You are welcome, Umbridge. Alright, so we've got that, and then there. Wonderful. Okay, so this is row number 8. So we're going to the left. And again, Jen Bear, you're amazing and awesome, fantastic. Thank you for that gift sub. Seriously, I appreciate you. Alright, so to the left. So we're picking up that left piece, flipping it over the right, and pinning it into place. Alright, any questions on this block so far, about any of the steps, why I do what I do, any of the procedures, before we go on and pin our last block, our last row? After we pin row number 9, I am going to take a quick 10 to 15 minute break, where if you are taking this class at a quilt store, feel free to use the time to either catch up, stand up, stretch, get a drink of water, go to the bathroom. Alright, lovely little piece. So he's going to go right there. Alright, last but not least, row number 9. This is it. Alright, there's 1. Purple. Purple. White and purple. Purple. White and purple. Purple. Did I need an odd and I forgot to take the odd number away? Yes. Yes. I needed 5 of these and I cut 6 and I forgot to take the single one away. So if you remember to take it away, you should only have a single piece left over. You should have a white and red combined 2.5-inch block. If you have this left over, it's perfectly fine. So just take these and set them over with your extra stuff for future blocks. Alright, so last row, we're going to the right. Arrow goes to the right, so you want to take that right piece, flip it over the left, and pin it into place. Right over left, pin it into place. right, over left. Oops. Come here, pin. I lost a pin. There we go. And let's bring this up into there. Fantastic. We have everything all laid out. So we have everything in our quilt laid out. We've got everything pinned. We have all of our pieces. We've got everything ready to gather. We're halfway. We are now on to the third page. So we just completed the second page. We actually even completed the top of the third page because we already did our horizontals. We already pinned everything. Hi. Are you a good boy, Marley? Yes, you're a good boy. So that means we're going to take a break. If you are watching on YouTube, whenever I change the scenes again from this scene, that's your cue that we are picked up again. So it's going to be about 10 to 15 minutes. And for everyone else, if you're in a store, if you're at home, if you're sewing along with us, it's break time. Take a stretch, take a breather. And I'm going to go up to the bathroom. I'm going to grab a snack. And yeah, so I'm going to put on some bloopers for you. All right, so let's do some bloopers. I shall return. Let's see. Be right back. Microphone! Microphone! Hi, guys. Sorry about that. So, for those of you that are watching live, you may have noticed there was a small hiccup. I had a very small power surge. And, of course, the power surge then restarted the router, which then kicked off the internet. Life happens, right? Make sure if you can hear me, if you cannot see what's going on, refresh the stream. So, of course, so then it took me a little bit extra time to go and use the restroom and grab a snack and all the things. So, yes. How are you, baby? I know, such a good fluffy puppas. Mwah. Okay, so before we move on, yeah, I know, yay life! Before we move on and start with the sewing step and move on to page 3. Any questions, anything at all from anyone from the first 2 pages from what we've done so far? I know you. I love you, baby. I love you, baby. I do. I love you, baby. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. I know. Yeah, I know, right? You would think that he's a good cuddler for taking naps. He's not. The moment that you lay down, the moment that you stop petting him, he leaves you. So he's only in it for the love. He's only in it for the pets. I know. You go, baby. Okay, let's go. There you are. Oh, so today. Oh, such a good baby. All right. Would you guys like a treat before we move on? Alfred doesn't like these treats, so Alfred doesn't get one. All right, there you go. That's a good job, guys. Good job. I know. Such good babies. Hi. I'll give you lovins. Oh, yeah. Such good babies. Okay. All right. There you are. All right. Whew. You ready? Let's keep going. Let's do this thing. All right. So where we left off, we had all of our stuff laid out. We had everything laid out right here. So now we're going to go one at a time, and we're going to take each row by row, and then we're going to go ahead and sew it. So we've got our first row right here. So this is technically row 9 because it's easy for me to start at the bottom and work my way up. And we're going to switch over. Now, I will go to the close camera in a moment after I show you step by step with behind me and what I am doing. Okay, it scared me for a minute because I know with this machine, if I don't fix it right after a power outage, it resets and it's not good. And I remember to do it. Or else I would have broke my needle because it would have been in the wrong position. Here we are. All right, so we're going to cut away our scrap fabric. Oops. And music. There we go. All right. There we are. So that is our first row. That's row number 9. I think I put the music too loud. There we go. All right, so next row, we're going to take this one right here, and we're going to bring it across. Now, here's the thing. Remember, we're doing what's called, oh my gosh, chain sewing. Why is my brain not working all of a sudden? Wait, not all of a sudden. My brain never works. I don't know who I'm kidding. So we're chain sewing. So we're having something constantly in the machine. So I'm going to start sewing the next row after the immediate row. The trick is you have to remember, at this point, remove the previous row. If you don't, then all your pieces are going to get lumped together and you're going to have a problem. So remember to remove the previous row. That's important. There we go. All right, row number 2. So then now, there it is. I couldn't find my my cutting gizmo. So we're going to separate it and remove them. Yes, exactly. It keeps the tension, scoundrel. Nope, caffeine doesn't help me, scoundrel. All right, so we have all these pieces, so we're going to set this aside. And grab the next one. So as you see, all I'm doing is I'm reaching back and I'm putting the rows where they belong and then grabbing the next set of rows. Okay, everyone's got that? So let's switch to this camera so you can see the close-up of what I'm doing. Now, I had somebody ask me on a regular stream the other day how I lay my pins. Pinning is a very personal choice. How you want to pin and what you want to do is completely up to you. There are people that I know that pin going this way so that they can pull the pins out as the machine is going in. They can just grab the pins as they're going. There are people that pin all the way down. Now, I pin it in a way because I sew over my pins. So I make sure that my pins do not touch the ends of the fabric. So I pin it down this way in a way that it's kind of right there. Get in my mailbox. Thank you so much, the host. I appreciate it. See, and if you do exclamation chain, there's lots of other reasons, Scoundrel. It's not just for tension. There's many reasons why you want to do that chain sewing. Yeah, no, whenever, I get in my mailbox, I lost my power briefly. So it kicked me off. I had to come back on. So, yes. Yeah, exactly, Nikki, and that's what I'm talking about. So there's some people that like to sew parallel. And I think if I removed my pins as I was sewing it parallel may be the easiest way to do it. Thank you very, very much again, by the way, for that host. And Umbridge, thanks for the host. Oops. Oops. And then, of course, I just lost everything here. So there. There. There we go. Okay. Yes, but it's also efficient. So the reason why you do it is for the end. So it is, yeah, so it actually doesn't say it in there. Whenever you don't chain, you have an opening here. Because you start from this end of the fabric, like right here, right? So what that does is it makes sure that you don't have that opening. So chaining is a good thing. So this is what's called the first pass. Because remember, I said there was going to be multiple passes. So this first pass, just make sure that we sew all of the things that we have combined so far. After we're finished with this pass, and we've sewn all these rows, we'll go back and re-iron them and repin them for the second pass. If I remember, I believe the Alien Parasite is 4 passes. I know the coins last week was only 3 because there was a lot to it. It's like I said, that was the easiest one of the entire quilt along. There we go. Remember to separate the previous group before you continue on. And a few times I've done that, where I'm just like happily, blissfully sewing along. Like do-do-do. I'm not aware of anything that's going on around me. I'm just gonna continue to sew and sew and sew. And then the next thing I know, I reach back and there's a whole bunch of rows missing and I'm going, oh. And then I gotta figure out which groups belong to which groups and what I've done wrong. Yeah, exactly, Sapphire. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah. Alright, next one. I think this one I'm sewing right now has the most pieces of all the rows, if I remember correctly. Oh, something I forgot to mention this stream. You always want to let your feed dogs carry your fabric through. You don't want to push or pull your fabric. But you notice whenever I'm sewing these pieces that have pins in there, my hand is back here. And you'll see my hand do this periodically. So what I'm doing, oh, I messed my my thread up. What I'm doing is I'm pulling it through when it gets near the pins, because sometimes it'll stall near the pins and have issues. Hi Ministry, how are you today? Alright, let's fix this. That's good. Look at that. I did not... Normally, whenever that happens, the thread normally comes out of the needle, but I didn't do it that time. It just got caught a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to pick it right back up here. You can put your scrap fabric back in, but it's fine. You just start from the last piece. Alright, let's do this again. So, like I was saying, I keep my hand back here so that whenever I'm near the pins, if it gets caught near the pin, I can just take my hand and help it through. So I'm not pulling it, I'm not pushing it, I'm helping it. I'm just getting it into there, and I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Alright, so there's that. We got 3 more sections left in this first pass. Go. I was just making sure. It felt like I was picking up more than one piece. So I was just making sure there's only just one piece there. All right, we're going to count our passes too as we're going through. So this is still pass number 1. There we go. Now, what we're doing right now is a lot of what we're going to be doing on Thursday. So for those of you, if you haven't joined me on Twitch for one of my monthly mini quilt giveaways, what I do is I make a small quilt. It's about 5.5 by 5.5 inches. And I use gridded fusible interfacing in order to make 1/2 inch finished squares. So it's a quilt where the finished squares are only a 1/2 inch. So they're tiny little quilts, tiny little blocks, and I show you how to use the gridded fusible interfacing. I show you how to make those mini quilts start to finish, including binding, and then I give it away. So we'll be doing that Thursday evening. You do not have to be present to win. You just use your pixels, which are our currency of the realm. It is our currency that you use to purchase tickets. So you just have to show up, purchase tickets, and then you do not have to be present to win. I am Eastern, so Shalette, if you look down below in my panels, it actually gives you my general schedule with the time zone, and my social media always has my exact schedule every single week. For example, this week I am not streaming on Friday because it's the only time I could get into the family center to do all my pinning for the quilts that I've made. There we go. Last one. Last one. Man, I love this purple. I know I've said that quite a few times. But I seriously love this purple. This is a great purple. Ah! My nose. It's the outside of it that's itching, too. There we go. Alright, so now, because we are... at the last row, at this point, I'm going to use my scrap fabric to release that last row, so that I can start ironing and repinning for pass number 2. So pass 1 is done. Scrap fabric. There it is. You notice how whenever I sew, hands free. Remember, do not push your fabric. Do not pull your fabric. Let your feed dogs, which are these little pieces of metal down here, let your feed dogs pull the fabric for you. Go. All right. Now I am going to show you where is iron. I'm going to show you quickly how we iron these pieces. So this is the stack that I finished ironing. All right. I finished ironing. I put it down. So I'm going to lay this out. All the pieces down. Okay. And this is how you iron them once it stops splashing. Come on. Come on, iron. Hi, Monty. How are you today? Come on, iron. Stop flashing. There we go. All right, so I'm going to lock it in first. So lock my seam in. And then iron it up. There you go. All right, so we've got all of our seams ironed. So now I take these pieces and I move them over to my mat. All right? Now, it's down here, so it's hard to see, so I'm actually going to lay it out so you can see it. So this is row number 9. So you lay it all out, and then you can see everything. Now remember, row number 9, the arrows go to the right. So we pick up that right piece, flip it over the left piece, and then pin it into place. And that's it. And that's all you're doing, line by line. So Monty, we are in the middle of a quilt-along. This is block number 5. The alien Parasite, based upon, of course, Metroid. We have a couple of quilt stores around the world that are actually taking the class right now, that are doing this with us. Oh, hi. You want to come up? All right. Whoa. No, I'm pressing down. I'm using an iron, Shalette. If you need lessons on how to iron with quilting, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that you can watch. But no, you definitely push down and you use your strength to make sure that you iron this flat. And I use lots of steam. Alright, so row number 8. Let me do this so you can see everything. There we are. Come on. There we go. So yeah, no, I'm definitely using steam and muscle. My twitch guns aren't just from moving grid wall at conventions. There we go. Alright. That goes that way. So they are perfectly flat. Well, yes, because I've been doing this 12 years full-time for 7 years. Alright, this is to the left. Now, I've got to count my pieces because remember, we have a lonely little piece here we have to include. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. I have 5 pieces here. So I can include my lonely little piece and not have to worry about leaving anything out. Alright, so let's make sure that I lay this out. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so it all lays out and it looks wonderful. Alright, so this goes to the left, so left over right, and pin it into place. Left over right, and pin. Left over right, and pin. Yeah, just remember with everything that we do, this is what I do for a living. I've done it numerous times. In order to become a master at anything, you have to do it a certain number of hours. Practice makes perfect, and that includes ironing, pinning, cutting, all the things. All the things. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 pieces. Oh, I got a lonely little piece over here. So I have an even number. So I don't have to worry about leaving anything out. I think the quilt that really got me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that really got lots and lots of experience with ironing was making a cathedral window quilt. That is all about fabric manipulation and it's all about ironing and it is a pain in the butt. Alright, so this is 1, 2, 3. This is to the right. So I'm going to lay this out to make sure. Now, when I lay this out, I do that for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I want to make sure I didn't flip any pieces. So I really want to make sure I did not flip any pieces because I have a problem flipping pieces. I constantly make pieces the wrong way. All the time. All the time. So, what I want to do is make sure that those pieces are right. Especially with a quilt like this that has lots and lots and lots of small pieces. Alright, so arrow to the right. So, and I have an even number, so I don't have to worry about leaving anything out. So right over left. And pin it into place. Let's put it this way. After the cathedral window quilt, I said I am never making another one again unless someone pays me a lot of money. It was that much work. Right over left. Right over left. There we go. All right, next. Yes, I am never doing Maleficent again. The only way that I would do something like Maleficent again is if somebody gave me a lot of money for it. That thing took me like a month and a half just for one quilt. The cathedral window quilt. Now, I was not doing this full time. This is before I actually started my business. It was one of the first ones that I did. Yeah, I went for a cathedral window for one of the first quilts. So that one took me, I think, about 3 or 4 months. But I was basically working on it in every single spare time when I wasn't working. 3, 4, 5, 6. Fantastic. And this is to the left. There we go. All right, and then we're going to the left. So left over right. And pin it into place. Left over right. See, this one always throws me off because the purple's on the outside as much as the inside. There we go. Okay, next. Four, 5. So this one has 5. And I have a lonely little piece. Look at that. I'm not leaving anything out so far. All of my lonely little pieces are being included. All right, so this is to the right. Sapphire, are you sure it was because I didn't go offline and come back on again? All right, let's make sure this all is good. There we go. Yep. And this is to the right. So right over left. And pin it into place. Yes, anyone that was lurking, that wasn't actively watching and refreshing, lost the stream. Because I had whenever I decided to take my 10 to 15 minute break, I actually had a small power outage. Right over left. There we go. All right, next. We are almost done with pass number 2. Now remember, this Thursday, if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize. It's not going to be this Thursday, but I do these once a month on Twitch, and you're more than welcome to join us. But this Thursday, I will be doing the mini quilts, the mini quilt giveaway, which I try to do monthly. So I'll be making a mini quilt start to finish with 1/2-inch finished blocks and then giving it away. Nope, it was not Twitch being twitchy. It was me. All right, row number 4. This is to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I have my first odd number. So this is my first odd number of pieces that I've got. So what I'm doing, I have to include this little lonely little piece. Remember what I said. I don't want to leave this by itself for 2 passes. We have to include it in this pass. But I have an odd number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave out the first piece that's already been combined. So you can think of it this way. This guy already has a buddy. He's already been combined into the group. It's okay if they're left alone. You're not leaving a lonely little piece by itself again. So I'm going to leave this here. This is going to the left. So the left over right. So that piece is staying by itself. And the reason why you want to do this is at the end, as you are combining things, you don't want a single little tiny piece to add on to the super long strip. It is a good habit to get in on these smaller quilts, because then you'll have that habit for the bigger quilts. Left over right. Somebody is asleep in my chair. Somebody has decided he likes laying in the chair and he's asleep. And he's not going to be happy with me when I finish ironing and pinning these and I kick him out of the chair. Oops. There we go. It really is easier whenever you lock your seams in and you iron the seam before you iron it up and you iron the seams up. I just forget to do it sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to have another one where I have an odd number again. All right. There we go. Yep, that's right. All right, so I have another odd number. So I'm leaving alone this first piece right here. So we're leaving this piece here. Arrow's going to the right, so I'm going to pick up that right piece, flip it over the left piece, and pin it into place. Soleil, stay here. Soleil, stay down here. Come here. You can't go upstairs, that door's closed. Go lay down. Well, I woke up Marley. Marley's awake. That's good, because I only have 2 rows left, and I'm going to have to kick him out of the chair. Yep. Yep. And pin it into place. Because I say the same thing every single time, right? So, right to left and pin it into place. Left to right and pin it into place. Because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. It's all about repetition. Whoops. Let me lock these. Remember? It's easier to iron when you lock it. There we go. It really is easier when you lock it. I gotta keep remembering that. Alright, so this is to the left. To the left. Alright, same thing. I have 5 pieces. I have an odd number of pieces, and we don't want to leave this lonely little piece all by itself, so we're going to leave this first piece sitting there. And this is going to the left. So, left over right. And pin it into place. I appreciate that, Nikki. Can you tell us what this thing is? All right, last but not least, row number 1. Soleil, stay. All right, that is 4 pieces. Fantastic. All right, and this is going to the right. You has plans for a quilt. There you are. All right, right over left. And pin it into place. All right, we're ready to sew our second pass.
Thank you for subscribing to Quiltoni. Grab your needles and head down to the sweatshop. I mean, factory.
Miss Elving!
Oh hey, I found a button. P.
Did you have a button, Miss Elving? Thank you so much. I super appreciate you. Thank you so, so much for 17 months of being a sub. I appreciate you. It's here too. Thank you. Did the bot not read? Oh, nope. I think the bot may have gone out. I gotta redo the bot. That's okay. I think that's our first one since the power outage. All right, it's good. Go ahead and give Miss Elvane, yes, 25 pixels for tier 2. Oh, 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 oh. Hi. Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Yes. Oh. Oh. Yeah, such a good boy. Mwah. All right. There you are. You can go lay there. Thank you very much, Nikki. Okay. Pass number 2. Same exact thing as before. All I'm doing is grabbing the rows behind me, moving it forward, and sewing them, and rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. There you go. Grab it from behind, bring it forward. Now, because there's only 2 pieces here, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it. There's no point in waiting and using my my cutting gizmo in order to separate my chains if I only have the 2 pieces. I have the scissors in my hand already. I may as well just do it. Right? Why put it off when you can just do it? There we go. You know, I'm wrong. I still may just do 3 passes. For some reason, I thought it would take us 4 passes for this one. I know with the Plumber Hero and the Adventurer, I think those are 4 passes. Those are a little bit more complicated. The Plumber Hero and the Adventurer are the harder blocks that we do. The Adventurer is the hardest. And don't forget, starting in 3 weeks, so not the stream 2 weeks from now, but the stream 3 weeks from now, the first weekend of August. First weekend of August. Stream is not going to be on a Monday. It is the only one that will be on a Tuesday. The reason for that, it's not because that Monday's Family Day here in Canada, which it is, but it is because I'm going to be traveling and driving back from Gen Con. Because I'm driving on that day. I can't teach a class, right? Well, scoundrel, that's why I have my book. So I do have a book that teaches you how to make your own pixelated patterns and how to turn those patterns into, pixelated images. How to make your own sprites and pixelated images that are appropriate for a quilt, and then how to turn it into a pattern. Well, there you go. My book already teaches you how to make it a pattern. Oh, no, I am going to have a 4th pass for this. Okay. No, I was counting correctly. No, exactly, Sapphire. It is not safe to quilt and stream while I'm driving. You want me to wait that extra day, trust me. Hi, Kabuki, how are you? Now, I also have my book on my website as well. If you would like an autographed copy, you do have to purchase it directly from me, or you can get it at your local Amazon. So my website has that in there. Oh, my nose. I wish it would stop itching. Whew. This time of year just kills my allergies. Oh, come on. Get it. There you go. It didn't want to catch. Go. All right, how many more do I have? 2 more. 2 more rows to sew. In pass number 2, and then we'll start on pass number 3. There we go. last one. Alright, let's cut this and separate this. Now remember, on the last one, we do want to get it out of there. So I'll be using my scrap fabric to free it. Separate it. And then we will go on and start pass number 3. There we go. All right. Pass number 3. Oh, wait for my iron to warm up. Any questions on what we're doing so far? Any questions on sewing the pieces together, on the rows, the arrows? Oh, sorry, that was a yawn. That was a yawn. There we are. All right, this is row number 9. Perfect. Okay, row number 8. Now, most of these rows will be done and ready for their final pass, but with this one, there are a couple that need an extra pass. Okay, this goes to the left. Okay, now I have 3 pieces here. Let me go up close so you can see. Whenever you have 3 pieces, you can combine them all with the same pass. So we have our center piece. I'm going to take my left piece. Left piece, flip it over the right piece. And I'm going to pin that one. I take that right piece, I flip it over that left piece, and I pin that. So I have this pinned from both sides. And it's going to be efficient so that I can actually sew it all together. There we go. So that one is done and ready to go. Any questions on that? You guys, this is not the first time we've done this in the quilt-along. We've done that a couple of times already. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is going to the right. Okay, that looks good to me. Yep. Okay, so to the right. So right over left. So this is one where I have 2 pieces still. So I had 4 pieces that I'm bringing down to 2. So this is one that's going to need an extra pass. So what I'll do when I go to sew these, I will skip these first 2 rows. So I'll skip row number 9. Oh my gosh, Marley. I'll skip row number 9 and I'll skip row number 8 and I'll go right to row number 7. And 7 is going to be the first one that I sew. Really? Really? You're a good boy. All right, next. Yeah, like I said, I love how the first 2 weeks there's tons of questions. And then after that, you guys have been like, it's the same thing as always. We got this. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. There we go. Okay, so 3 pieces. I'm taking the left over the right. Pinning that into place. I appreciate that, Sapphire. And then I'm going to take this right over the left because it's a 3. So I have 3 pieces. I may as well just sew them all together at the same time. So makes it easy. There we go. Next. One, two, three, four, 5. So to the right. Yep. Notice how I check it every single time. I have a horrible habit of flipping pieces, so I check it every single time. All right, so left over right. Now, this is the first time we've run into this problem in this block. This piece that I'm flipping over is longer than that center piece. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pin it into place. And then I'm going to take this top piece and I'm going to fold it back. That way I see this part right here, because remember, we still have to do this. And I want to make sure that both of these ends are open. You do not want to catch any additional fabric whenever you're doing your sewing. Whenever you're doing your stitches, you do not want to catch that extra fabric. Okay? Next. Any questions on that one? You guys got that, right?
Yo, what's going on?
There we go. And this is to the left. And I have 4 pieces. Because remember, I still have this piece right here. That combined piece that I left over. Beautiful. All right, so this is to the left, so left over right. This is another one that I'm going to have to skip all the others. So at this point, I'm sewing row number 7 and row number 4. Those are the ones that need an extra pass. I think Marley just went up into the chair to sleep in the chair. I think he likes my DX Racer. And it looks like row number 3 needs an extra pass as well, because I also have that combined piece I left over, and there's 3 pieces here. Okay, so this is to the right.
Yo, what's going on?
Go. 2 more rows of ironing and pinning. Okay, Alright, 1, 2, this is to the left. And the same thing, I have 3 pieces. So the left piece is going to go over the right. Pin it into place. And then right over left. And it's extra long, so we're going to flip it back. And pin it into place. There we go. Okay, and this is to the right. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. Hi, Huckabee. How are you today? All right. Hold on. Let's do this. Hi. I'm going to move you down. Mwah. There you go. All right. Let's grab this. So remember, I said we're skipping over some of these rows. We are only doing the ones that need an extra pass. So that would be row number 7, row number 4, and row number 3. So those are the only ones that I'm taking to sew because they need that extra pass. There we go. Let's cut away our scrap. And grab row number 4. And I went ahead and trimmed those with the scissors. I'm probably not going to use this again, so I can set that aside. Any machine can do chain stitching, Huckabee. All it is, can you lift your presser foot up with your hand? That's all it is. That's all you do for chain stitching. You just put things constantly in the machine. Your machine may not be able to free motion quilt, which is what I'm doing on Sunday, but any machine can chain stitch. There we go. And we're going to take our scrap fabric Lego. Thank you so much for that, host. I appreciate you. And trim those. All right, now let's iron and pin. That was it. That was pass number 3. So now our final pass of pass number 4. So let's iron and pin the 3 that we just did that needed that extra little lovin'. 1, 2, 3. This is to the right. Scoundrel, all of that information is in the pattern. So that's what I've been talking about with the arrows. So if you had this pattern, you would see the arrows for the directions. So you have to do your seams. And at the beginning of the stream, I explained nesting your seams, which are super important with your arrows. So if you need a refresher on that, you can just rewind to the beginning of the stream, or you can rewatch this on Twitch or on YouTube. There we are. 1, 2, 3, 4 is row number 4, so this is to the left. But yes, no, there's in my patterns, there's very, very, very specific directions on ironing seams, which is very important. Minion Mama, thank you so much for that, host. I appreciate you. For those of you watching on YouTube, if you're not sure what a host is, basically it's somebody here on Twitch that says, hey, I like your channel. I want to have your channel on my channel. So if you go to Minion Mama's channel right now, or Legolas's channel right now, you'll see me playing on their channel. 1, 2, 3 is to the right. By the same token, if you ever stop by my channel, my Twitch channel, if I am not live, then I'll be hosting other people and you can watch other people on my channel. So it's kind of like a guest spot on a TV show. Alright, now I have all of my rows. I have everything lined up, ready to go. So now I want to combine them. Because remember, we always want to combine two together in order to have it efficiency for sewing. So I'm going to take this one and combine it with the first one. So here's rows number 9 and number 8. Let's take this one. And all I'm doing is I'm combining them. Now, whenever I have one that has a 3 and one that has a 2, the 3's on top. And I'll show you why in a second. Now, we have our lonely little one. Row number 1 all by itself. That's perfectly fine. Remember, there's different passes. Same thing here when we're sewing our rows together. We have different passes. So this is pass number 1 for sewing the rows. Ready? This is a 3. So with the 3, I'm going to sew the one side first. I'm going to trim off my scrap. And then here's my single. It's only on one side. Now, here's the thing. Remember, we wanted to sew both sides at the same time. This is how you do it. You now trim this, and you turn it around. Simple as that. And you sew it on the other side. And I've just saved myself some time by doing it all together. All right, let's grab the next set. Separate those. This is a 3, so we're gonna trim it, we're gonna turn it around, and sew the other side. You know, I said earlier, one of my favorite things is when I start running out of pieces, because it means that I'm in the home stretch. My favorite part of doing my quilts is assembling my rows together. Because when you start assembling the rows together, you can actually start to see the picture form. Until now, as you're seeing these individual strips, you're like, that looks weird. That looks really weird. Kind of like whenever you're looking at, oops, that is a 3. I can't forget to sew that other side. When you're looking at a single dot out of an entire picture, you can't see the whole picture by just looking at that dot. So up until now, we've only looked at these dots. We haven't looked at the entire big picture, which we will do in a few minutes. There we go. So let's take this and set this here. Now, I'm going to take you through every single step of this. That means after we're finished sewing our rows together, we are going to square up our block. And squaring up your blocks is an important thing. I used to not square my blocks up at all. I used to not care. I'm like, why would you square it up? There's no point. There is. It makes it so much easier and nicer, and it makes your overall quilt look a lot better. Just take an extra few moments and square your things up. Magic eye puzzles. Yes, you stare at it, it makes no sense, and then all of a sudden your eyes go a little bit wonky, and there's a picture. Yes, the magic eye is a perfect example, Nikki. Thank you. Like, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening. The next thing you know, hey, I have a picture. Which is why it's easy to flip pieces until the very end, and you don't realize you flipped them until the very end. At all. because you can't see the picture. It doesn't stick out at you. All right, now let's start doing this. Same thing, I'm going to iron the 3 combined on both ends. I'm going to iron it at the same time as well. Oops, come on. Beautiful. All right, let's lay this out. Oh, you know I talked with my hands, Lego. Let's lay this out. This is to the left. So our bottom row goes to the right. The next row up goes to the left. Look at that. We're going to take our bottom, flip it over the top, and then pin it. Now, when you are pinning your rows, it is important you line up your seams. Do I seriously not have any seams that line up on this? I forgot about that. Okay, this is one of those weird, strange patterns, hi perms, where you have no seams that line up. So this is what you do. You center it as best you can. Okay, I'm centered as best as I can, and I'm going to start from the middle and work my way out. So if your rows do not have any seams that line up, start from the center, work your way out. Oops. Now, anytime there's a seam, whether there's a seam on the top or underneath, I'm putting a pin in there. And the reason is as I sew, I do not want that seam to flip up, if at all possible. Because if that seam flips up, it's going to add extra bulk that's going to cost me whenever I do my quilting. So, be kind to your free motion quilter, to your long armor, or be kind to yourself, be kind to future you, and try to make sure that those seams lay flat as you sew. Alright, so here's our first one. So here is combined row number 1. I'm going to lay this to the side, and there's a reason why I'm going to do this to the side, which you'll see in a second. Alright, so number 2, let's iron this. Go. So this is rows 7 and 6 that I have. So this is 7 and this is 6. Now as you can see, the picture is starting to emerge. So we're going to take the bottom, flip it up. Now I'm going to look for combined seams. Right here is my first one. So I'm going to pin that right there in that combined seam. And then I'm going to go back and pin this area right here that doesn't have a combined seam. And then now I want to just pin where my combined seams are. Now I'm moving my fabric around to make sure that those seams are nested. Remember we talked about nesting. To make sure that those seams go in opposite directions. So that seam is perfectly nested in there. Once it is nested, put that pin in there, then go back and pin all of the other ones that aren't lined up with another one. If you do not have perfect points, it means you need more practice with nesting those seams. You're not, even I don't get perfect points all the time. But it's pretty darn close. Remember your 3-foot rule. So, chat, what's the 3-foot rule? Exactly. If you can't see it from 3 feet away, no one is going to see it. Seriously. So if you think you've made a mistake, you have 3 options. Option number 1, undo everything you've done and fix it. Option number 2, say, this is fine. This is fine. And leave it be. Option number 3 is give up and walk away. You should never do option 3 if you can help it. Now, if you need to take a breather, if you need to walk away for a little bit, clear your mind, and then make a decision of what you're going to do, that's fine. But use the 3-foot rule. If you do not see it immediately from 3 feet away, no one's going to see it. No one will ever notice it unless you point it out. Yeah, you need the this is fine. This is fine. This is not life and death. You're not going to kill anyone or draw blood or do it. This is a quilt. This is fine. It's okay. There's no quilt police. No one's going to come running out and yell at you and destroy your quilt. It's fine. Soleil, stay. Stay here. Okay, this is number 5 and number 4. Aw, look how nicely that lines up. There's no quilt police. There's really no quilt police that exist. People like to think they're the quilt police. But they're not. Wait, you told, not my dog, Soleil. Who did you tell that was the quilt police? Yeah, my dog is a squirrel police. All right, ready for a random funny fact? You guys want a random funny fact I've never told you? So, when I first got Soleil, and this is how I always remember how old she is. I was 31 years old when she was born. So I was 31 when I got her. I am now 43. I'm now 43. So that means this February, she'll be 12 years old. Holy crap, she's that old? So this February, she'll be 12 years old. When I first got her, and I was trying to decide how to name her. A friend of mine was giving me ideas, and I was a very, very low place in my life. And I got her, and she basically made my life so much better. She brightened it up, and she was amazing. So a friend of mine suggested Soleil because she's my son. Soleil is French for sun. And I was like, that is an amazing idea. I love that idea. Yes, I will name her Soleil. All right, so this is row number 3. This is row number 2. There we go. Yep, that's right. All right. So, after I named her, the next week I went to go visit a really good friend of mine, a couple. And they had 2 kids. And one of their kids was a girl. And they gave her a French first name, French middle name as a throwback to their heritage. So I introduced Soleil to them, and she looks at me and says, "You named your dog after my daughter?" And I was like, "What?" Soleil was her middle name. And she told me this, of course, when she was born, but I had forgotten. I wasn't the godparent or anything. I had forgotten. So, yeah. So up here, so Soleil has the same name as a friend of mine's daughter's middle name. Alright, so we have combined together all of our strips except for row number 1. Row number 1 is still in our machine. Alright, so that means we have 5 rows at this point. Okay, we had 9, now we have 5. So what happens when we have a lonely little piece that sits all by itself? What do we do in the next pass? Chat, what do we do? We have a lonely little piece sitting all by itself. We want to include it in the next pass. So, we want to leave this first one by itself. So, this first one we're leaving here. Okay? This second one and the third one will combine together. And then this one will combine with the one in the machine. That means we're taking this one first. Even though we just pinned it and did it last, we're sewing it first because we're including it with this one in the machine. That makes sense, right? That's exactly it, Minion Mama. We want to add the last piece to the next to last to leave the first one by itself. Remember, kids, do as I say, not as I do. Do not sew over your pins. It is a horrible, horrible habit that I have. There's many reasons why you don't want to sew over your pins. It's not a good idea. All right, now we're going to grab this next combined one. Setting this aside. You can actually hear it whenever my needle hits the pins. You can hear the metallic ping, 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 ping. Now, those two are being combined together. We'll take our lonely little one by itself and sew that. There we go. All right, let's take our pins out. And these two are the ones we'll sew together. We'll iron them, sew them together. We're almost done. We're in our home stretch. We're not gonna last till 5 o'clock today. We only have to finish combining these rows. And then square our blocks. We are in the home stretch, people. So, for those of you that are doing the quilt along, that are here in chat, what is your favorite block? Somebody asked me what my favorite block so far was. What is your favorite block so far? Which one do you like the best? Alright, now, let's iron and sew them together and pin them together. Minion Mama likes the hunting dog. Sapphire, you like this one? You like the Metroid one? The alien Parasite? There we go. The ghost on the bottom. Oh, of the entire quilt along. No, that's not a ghost. That's that's a whale. That's the whale from Bubble Bobble. The death whale. That threw me off for a minute. I'm like, wait, what? There's no ghost? No, that's the death whale. Oh, Bubble Bobble is my favorite. I know there's a lot of people that haven't played it, but Bubble Bobble is my favorite game. I absolutely adore it. It's funny, whenever I have quilts like that with multiple games that hang in my booth, or if I have multiple quilts of different games in the booth, I have kids sometimes that'll go up and try to guess all the games. The ones that can guess all the games, I know they have great parents. There we go. That one is together. Let's do this one. Now, at this point, when you are ironing your rows, it does not make a difference which way you iron the rows. You can iron the rows towards the top. You can iron them towards the bottom. You can even iron your rows open at this point. It does not make a difference at all. Okay, that goes this way. There's our center. It's getting there. See, this is the point where you look at it, you're like, oh, I see the picture coming in. And I've mentioned it a few times this stream, but I'm going to mention it one more time. Don't forget this Thursday, July the 16th, 17th, 18th, July the 18th, I will be doing the monthly mini quilt giveaway. This is a special giveaway that happens once a month. We did not do this in the month of June because I was traveling so often. But I will be making a mini quilt from start to finish, showing you all the techniques, basically how to use gridded fusible interfacing. I will be then using reflective coatings for the batting, and then putting binding on. I'll be doing all of this in a single stream, and then giving it away, so that you can win it. Alright, so if you would like to win a mini quilt this Thursday, be here this Thursday. Anytime during the stream, you use your pixels for tickets. And then at the end of the stream, I have random number generator, pick one, and I give it away. So remember how you get pixels. Pixels are the currency of the realm. You get them one of a couple of different ways. If you're a streamer and you bring your friends in on a raid, you get a pixel for each person, minimum of 3 people in the raid, maximum of 200 pixels. You also get them by subbing. You get them in giveaways, which the giveaways for today's stream we'll be doing on Thursday. You also get them in random different ways, like if you turn your coins in for your pixels. Coins you get just by hanging out and being here in the stream. So if you would like something that I have made, and you can use it as a trivet, you can use it as a wall hanging, as a centerpiece. Yes, you will be seeing Marley dance on Thursday whenever I do giveaways. It is a regular stream. That dinging is the cat playing with her water bowl. Just in case you didn't know what that was, if you heard it. Alright, this is it. This is our last combination of the rows. So, at this point, we'll see if I did this right. Well, at this point is when we see if I flipped any pieces, if I did anything wrong. I like how this week nobody's popped in like halfway through and said, okay, I'm done. Jan Bear, are you working on yours this week? Because last week really was a fast one. Last week was the easiest one we've done. You're not! There we are. There's our 3 pieces together that still need sewn together. This one is a little bit more involved. So we're going to take our centerpiece, because we have 3 pieces. Take our bottom, flip it over, pin it into place. This one's about average. Which one is next week, Nikki? I think next week is tumbling blocks. Is based on Tetris. I don't remember puzzle pieces, or I don't remember what we called it. Yeah, it's based on Tetris. I'm trying to think of what it's called. So next week, is, it's about the same skill level as this week. So it's not super hard, but it's not super easy. It's about average for my stuff. Puzzle Tetrads. Thanks, Jan Bear. Alright, now we're going to take this and flip this. I don't know why I've got it on the iron one. You're not seeing any of the irons. Now remember, we have to flip this one. This is how Bob Ross was upside down. Because you flip this around, you have to make sure to flip this around as well. Oh, is she there? Yes. For those of you new to the stream, this is Hestia. The dogs have abandoned me, but apparently Hestia came back. She is not a very nice cat. She likes to attack me as I sew. Yes, she does love to be the center of attention. So her sitting in the center, it totally fits. The banging that you hear is my husband. He walks very heavy. So nothing is falling, nothing is happening, he's just walking. There we go. Okay, now let's sew this. We're going to sew each side because we pinned it as a 3. Perfect. We're going to put our scrap in and flip it around. Let's trim that. All right, we're almost done. This is our last piece of sewing. This is it. Scrap in. Let's take our pins out. There we go. Let's iron it. You know what? I want more water in here. I want to make sure this is fully ironed out before I square it up. Oh, here comes the dog again. Hello, Mr. Marley. And I'm going to turn this around. What is that? Nikki, thank you so much for gifting my bot a sub. I appreciate you. Please give yourself 10 pixels. Because remember, in my chat, whenever you gift any subs to one of my bots, you get the pixels. Thank you very much, Nikki. I appreciate you. Yes, Stream Elements did need some love. All right, that's it. Our square is done. There's our lovely block. Now, you notice how it's a little fine. You notice how it's a little wonky in some places. It's a little weird. It's a little there because we need to square this up. So, let's do this. Let me get my long ruler. I'm going to lay this out. Let's measure this. We need to square this to 18 inches. So it looks like this is about 18 and a quarter. By about 18 and a quarter to 18 and a half. So it really does need trimming. So how am I going to trim this? Nope, I got a wonky seam. Let me iron this. Because you also want to make sure they're nice and flat when you do your square ups. It just makes it so much easier. There we go. All right, so that is straight right here. What I'm doing is I'm taking one of my seams and I'm lining it up along with the lines of my cutting mat. And then I'm going to move it to the left a little bit and to the right a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that every single bit is between this line here and the 18 line here. So I'm making sure the whole thing is in between there while it's still straight. Let's check another one. That's straight. That's straight. Perfect. All right, so let's cut this. So I'm lining it up along the 18. Beautiful. And then now I'm going to flip this. And now, because I know this line here is perfectly straight, I'm just going to take that and line it up. And then lay this out flat. Lining this on the 18. There we go. All right, so my sides are squared up. Let's do the top and the bottom. Same exact thing, except this time I'm lining it up along the top and along the bottom because I know those two are straight cuts. And you see how this kind of goes wonky here? How it kind of goes out and in? This is straight right here along the top and the bottom. It kind of looks a little bit crooked, doesn't it? This picture looks straight, but the bottom and the top look a little wonky and crooked. This is why you square your blocks up. Fairy, thank you so much for that big host. I appreciate you. We are actually almost finished with block number 5. Block number 5 of our quilt-along is almost done. I'm doing the last bit of squaring up right now. Guys, if you don't know who Fairy Wings is, please go give her a follow. She's amazing, she's awesome, she's fantastic, she's one of my good friends. But remember, if you are watching me in a store right now taking this class, she's not a PG streamer, but she is amazing. All right, so keep that in mind. If you visit her channel, she does use language now and then, which is perfectly fine. She's still an amazing person and positive. All right, so we've got here. Let's cut here. We've got that. And then now I have 3 sides that are perfectly straight and perfectly fine. So now let's flip this around. I'm lining this up straight over here. And I'm lining it up straight along the top and along the bottom. And then this is it. After this, block number 5 is done. Now, compare that to how it was before we squared that up. See how much nicer that looks? See how much cleaner it is? One of the reasons why you want to square your blocks up is you want to make it's a lot easier and nicer whenever you're combining your blocks together. It will be so much easier to just square it after you're finished making it. Trust me. So much easier. Now, what we want to do, remember, we have this stack of leftover fabrics from before. After I finish the stream, I'm going to take these fabrics, put them right in the center, and I'm going to fold my block up, down, right, and left. And then that's how I'm keeping my blocks, to make sure they're nice and straight. So, any questions on block number 5? Questions, concerns, issues? Did we get it done? Anyone have anyone get their block finished? Any blocks finished out there? So the next one's going to be next week. Next Monday from 1 to 5 Eastern, we're going to be doing the puzzle Tetrads, which is inspired by Tetris. I'm very, very excited for that one. I like that block a lot. I know that's probably Miss Elvain's favorite block because she's a huge Tetris fan. I know. Thank you, Sapphire. I appreciate that. And don't forget, just a reminder, this Thursday is the monthly mini quilt giveaway. I'll be making a mini quilt from start to finish and then giving it away. You do not have to be present to win, but you do have to pop in the pop in the channel sometime between 5 and 8 o'clock in order to purchase your tickets with your pixels. So it'll be a lot of fun. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm making. I may not even decide what I'm making until right before the stream on Thursday. So we'll see. So thank you very, very much for joining me. I super appreciate you. Remember, we have a Facebook group if you want to show off your pictures. If you want to have any additional questions, join the Facebook group. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. I've got Discord, social media, email, always. So thank you so much for being here. I super appreciate you. I'm going to go try to find someone to raid. We're going to go bring some love to someone. If I'm on a public place, you can decide to come with us, or you can decide to go ahead and turn off the stream at this point. So, I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you Thursday night. Or if you're watching on YouTube or live, I'll see you next Monday. Have a fantastic day.